Thanks, Pat, and thanks, Tom. My name's Richard, and I'm the CEO at the Healing Foundation. I belong to the Meriam people of the Torres Strait, and I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners, the Aranda people and their ancestors past and present, and thank them for their welcome this morning on the never ceded lands of the Aranda people. I'd also like to make special mention of stolen generations. Through the work of the Healing Foundation, we know that there's much to learn about trauma and its intergenerational impacts from their experiences, and that we can also learn a great deal about strength and healing from our stolen generations. My presentation, my talk here is brief. I'm not going to go into a great deal of detail about the work of the foundation. We have a website, and you can, look that up at your own leisure. But we're here really about to deal with an issue that the Healing Foundation believes is a crisis in our communities. Suicide takes Indigenous lives at twice the rate for non-Indigenous people, and it's the leading cause of death for Indigenous people aged between 15 years and 35 years. So just those two stats tell us that it's a major problem for our communities, and if we don't start to address it collectively as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, with leadership within our communities and also with the support of government, creating enabling environments to enable us to do that, we're headed for catastrophe. And for those that don't know a lot about the Healing Foundation, we work with communities to address trauma through healing. So the types of things we do, we work with members of stolen generations to create their own healing responses. We support children and young people to improve their social and emotional well-being, provide trauma-related workforce education and training, and assist communities to access information on trauma and healing. We're developing an evidence base for best practice in Indigenous healing, and we share our knowledge of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander healing with communities, government and non-government organisations across the country. Perhaps unsurprisingly, what we have found works in achieving healing is reclaiming our cultural identity and knowledge and building connections to culture. And I think that we've just heard that in terms of this issue, suicide, that Pat just presented. Culture plays a critical role in each of the programs we support around the country. We know that culture is important, cultural identity is important, pride and identity is important. So these things must be at the centre of any kind of solutions that we're going to develop and that might emerge from a conference such as this. And I suspect that as we unpack the crises in our communities and gain recognition that what we're seeing as a result of the trauma that's come from colonisation and the experience of stolen generations, as we unpack that and come to that conclusion, we'll see healing being talked about as a way, as an approach to find solutions. And there's work going on in this already. And I go back to the welcome this morning. There was a message of healing in that welcome. And I think that that's very much where we can find our solutions, and we will find it through our communities at the local level. I've just had a brief chat with some people from the Leonora community, and some of the things they're doing are clearly community-based ideas designed around the structure of their community and that are going to work for their community. And I suspect, without preempting any of the outcomes of this conference, we're going to need to think about how we scale up healing approaches around the country. There's, as Pat said, there's a range of activity that's going on in Aboriginal communities around the country. There's a range of service providers, NGOs, Aboriginal organisations, a range of different services. Some are connected well, some aren't that well connected. But there is a way to connect those, and we can connect them through regional healing strategies that are designed, developed and led by communities, and that enable services, enable the people with the responsibility to provide service to our people to be able to respond to those and to be able to provide approaches that strengthen communities and strengthen our approaches to healing. That's about all I have to say. I want to I'm really excited the Healing Foundation is a part of this this project, to be able to partner with the University of Western Australia, Telethon Kids Institute, and a range of other providers, and also with the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet. I don't want to leave them out, given that they put the money up for the project and for this conference. I want to encourage people to have their say through this conference and get their thoughts heard. I think you can tell by the way we've started the proceedings that we've really strived to create a safe environment for that to occur. And we know that there's a lot of support in the room, and wherever we're going to go in this conference, that we will be supported. And so if we are feeling agitated, or we are feeling sad, then we need to look after ourselves, and please take care of each other as well. When I talk about those stats earlier, when we look at those cold hard figures, we can forget that these are, for us, they're heartfelt issues. They're family members, friends, brothers, sisters, wives, community members and leaders that we've lost. So they're more than statistics, they're us, they're our mob. So the issues that we are grappling with in our communities, these crises that are leading to suicides, stem from the trauma that exists in our communities. And I believe that the solutions, the way we can overcome this is through community leadership, and ensuring that community leadership is recognised. Thank you very much.